Welcome to the Candle Business Coach Podcast, a show about the craft of candle making and small business. I'm your host, Kirsty Allen, and I'm a candle maker, mum of three, and kindness advocator. Join me as I dive into all things candles and small business and deliver advice and tips to you in episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Are you on the list to get my daily motivation emails? Every day I'll send you a message that is designed to help keep you focused on taking action toward your goals. Sign up using the link in the show notes. This episode is brought to you by my free ebook, the Candle Business Marketing Kickstarter Kit. Inside this free ebook, you'll learn to identify your blocks of time to dedicate to your candle business. Plus, there are several tips and tricks for re-engaging past customers and attracting new customers into your business so you can grow your business and reach your goals. Check out the link in the show notes for your copy. Welcome back to the podcast, my friend. It is so lovely to have you here for another candle maker conversation. And today we have the beautiful Helen, and she will introduce herself and her business with us now.
Thank you. My name's Helen Melbourne, and I'm the founder and CEO of Melbourne Hand-Poured Candles and Soaps. But I live in Atunga, so it's a bit of a pretty handy surname and business name.
Love it. So good. So do you want to tell the listeners how you got started with candle making and with your business as well?
So my husband and I normally manage municipal swimming pools in another world, and we were managing one Western New South Wales, and COVID hit. And so I am also a beauty therapist and have my own salon, and it's attached to the back of our property in Atunga, which is just outside of Tamworth. And, yeah, we both got put off with COVID, and we're like, I said, oh, well, this will pass, it'll be right. It'll be okay. And then what can I do for fun? Because she couldn't see any clients. And I'm like, so I messaged my cousin and said, you ever made candles? She said, yeah, it's good fun. So it sort of grew from there. I got a little bit out of control.
That's there are not a lot of benefits from COVID in general, but being able to find another passion and be able to explore that and let it grow through through customers and through your journey as well has meant that you've got this successful business that you're able to enjoy and receive benefit from. So let us, if you want to let us know the meaning behind your name as well. I know obviously Melbourne's your surname, but why Candles and Soaps?
Well, I just had candles originally, and then I'm a big networker. I know a million people, not a million literally, but and one of my friends was making soaps, and she makes beautiful soaps. And I said, could you make some for me? And she said, yeah, of course. So I added the soaps on there. So that's what we do.
I love that. So you make the candles?
All of them.
Yeah.
So I design them and I pour them.
And when it came to creating your labels, did you find that process was exhilarating and fun or more overwhelming and challenging?
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's not my zone of genius. I can think things in my head and I can tell you, but I'm not a graphic designer. I know what I want, but I can't get it. My sister's a graphic designer, but I was speaking to a friend who I speak to every day, and we met during anyway, I'll go on to that later. And she said, oh, for God's sake, Helen, just outsource them. So I got onto Yellow Pages to find something in Tamworth, because I haven't been here that long, and found Allsop Signs and Christy Galloway. And I just said to her, I want a label that feels like this.
Mm-hmm.
And she does all my labels.
I love that.
She prints them, she designs them, she gives me these options. I can change what I want. And it's not worth my time. It's not my zone of genius.
And that's so interesting you say that, because many of the candle makers that I speak to are afraid to outsource because they feel like another person couldn't possibly understand their vision and what they want for their business. But on the same hand, they are not able to create the labels themselves. So they kind of find themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place in a way. And to be able to find someone that you can outsource to that can understand the vision and create you a beautiful looking label is so important, particularly for the end product, for the end customer to fall in love with your candles as well. They need to feel connected to your label. And if you're not able to create that yourself, then outsourcing is definitely a good option.
Oh, 100%. I guess my best example would be when I released my She range. She is in SHE. And I said to her, I want a label that's pretty but strong but determined but gentle. I said, think Marilyn Monroe, Nicole Kidman, strong but elegant. And she came back with beautiful, beautiful labels. I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted.
I love that. I love that you're able to convey your vision so well and make it so clear for Christy to be able to create them for you. So that's so good to hear. So when you first started your candle business, what was the process like for you?
Well, of course, it was just for fun to keep busy for a little while, but I find it very cathartic. Some of the things that I've noticed is that if I'm in a bad mood or I'm having a bad day, my candles end up dodgy. Like on the top of them. The top of them won't set properly, or it'll do weird things. And I think I'm quite holistic, so I know that everything is energy. So I have to have my mindset right to pour my candles. When I first started, it was just like, oh, I'll chuck the wax in the microwave and see what happens. And it was like, oh, these are cool. Yeah, I didn't understand the different types of waxes, the wicks. I understood the fragrance percentages, but it was just fun. And then it's like, this is very, very cathartic.
Yes, I often say that making candles is like therapy, in that when you lose yourself in the process in such a beautiful way and you lose track of time. And at the end of it, once you've poured those candles and you look back at what you've created, you sit there in a sense of awe and relaxation and relief almost.
Yeah, and the gift of giving, like when someone gets one of my candles and goes, I've had reviews like, oh my God, I've had candles before, but not like this. And I was like, that's because when I poured them, I was loving them. I loved all of them. I'm pouring on this love, envisaging in someone's, I know it's a bit strange, but that works.
No, I love that. No, I totally resonate with that. I think it's so important to, be on the right energy level when doing anything in life to get not to get the best result, but to put out those good intentions and to help that ripple effect keep going as well.
Well, absolutely, because people that buy a candle, this is how it works in my head, are purchasing something to give to someone or to themselves in a loving environment, in a caring environment. Like if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to go and see Jane and she's not feeling too good, oh, I'll buy her a candle. That'll cheer her up. That'll make her feel better. So if you have that love inside the candle when it's poured, and you can tell, like you buy one at another place that's manufactured by a machine and it's different. I don't know. It just is.
Yeah, I think whenever something is handmade, there's more time and energy and love put into it because the person that's creating it has a passion for what they do. And as you say, you can tell between, one of a million manufactured candles as opposed to a handmade candle that might have crystals or botanicals on top, or might just have, a perfectly designed label that truly reflects the business owner and the consumer as well. So, yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So when thinking about running your business, how do you complete all the tasks needing to be done?
Oh, that's easy. Just get my iPhone, write a list the night before, put the little circles next to it in your notes. You go to notes and write what you have to do, and then put little dots. And then when I do it, I tick it. And it makes me feel like I've won lotto, right? It's like, tick, oh, I've done that. I've only got 3 things to do today. And I always choose the smallest task first, because then that's it. And, of course, that takes you into a more excited energy field, right? So you're going, oh, I've done it. I've done that. I've only got 3 to go. And you tick off one. Sometimes you think you should do the hard one first, but I always leave it till last.
Each to their own, I suppose. But it's true, because you create that momentum and it creates that snowball effect so that you can get those tasks going and to keep that momentum going and that motivation. So if that's what works for you, and it obviously is working, then definitely keep it up.
Thank you. It does work, yeah.
So tell us about one of the biggest wins you've had in your business so far.
Well, I have written myself some little notes here. I was contacted by Amazon to put my candle.
Wow.
Right?
You were contacted by them?
Yes.
Amazing.
couple of years ago and said, we want to stock your candles. Well, I was nearly cartwheeling through the whole house. I can't cartwheel, but I was so excited. And I'm like, oh, wow, they want my candles. And so they said, you need to do this and this and this. Had to get barcodes. Didn't realise you had to buy barcodes.
Oh, okay.
You literally have to purchase barcodes. And then I had to get printed. And so it was like I decided how much I was selling them for, all this stuff. Got them all printed. Christy, again, printed them all for me. And then they ran away and never came back.
Oh, no.
So it was like, oh, there's a lesson.
Oh.
So as much as they never ended up on Amazon, it is a really good lesson to make sure that there's some commitment from the person who's approaching you before you spend thousands of dollars, and that's what it cost me, and it never went anywhere. So it's like, okay, and it was a really good lesson for me. But maybe my biggest win was just follow your gut, right? It was just have faith in yourself. And my candles aren't the same as yours or Mary Blogs or whoever's, and that's okay because not everybody resonates with everybody. But if that's what you want to do, then that's what you do. I think sometimes you get a little bit caught up in checking out other people's pages. I unfollow other candle makers because it just does my head in. It's like, just go with your gut, Helen. This is what you want to do, then do that. And if it doesn't work, pivot, do something else.
Absolutely. It's funny you say how you unfollow the different candle makers, because there's a temptation to look at other pages, as you say, to see what other people are doing. But then your entire feed becomes flooded with all the different candle makers, and it sort of feeds into the thought that the candle industry is saturated because that's all you're seeing, that's all you're exposed to. And if it leaves you in a place of comparisonitis or any negativity or anything that makes you feel less than, then I totally agree. Unfollow and focus on just what you can control, focus on your business and focus on your path.
Absolutely. Yeah. And trust yourself. And if
100%.
I'm the queen of outsourcing, it's like my content writing is terrible. I think it's terrible. I read others and think that's beautiful. I'm going to outsource that. My photography, I outsource my photography. I can't nail that either. And you waste hours and hours and hours and hours. And it's expensive to get photography done, but it's worth every cent. Because you use it forever.
Yeah, that's right. And it helps to sell your products. So the return that you get on your investment when it comes to photography is worth more than spending, as you say, hours and hours when you don't have the skills.
Worth every cent. If you get a good product photographer, and I've had 3, only because of my location. One lady lives out at Currabubula, just outside of Tamworth, and she does beautiful, beautiful work. And then another lady was down in the Hunter. Her stuff was stunning. And then my sister, who's a graphic artist, but she lives in Albury, so it's too far for me to do that. But everyone has different styles and there's different types of photography. So there's one for your website and there's one for your social media. It's like, oh, it's too much for me to deal with. Just outsource that and pay it.
Yeah.
And you use it. I had a lady message me the other day and she said she was from Melbourne. She thought I was in Melbourne. It's a very handy name, I can tell you. And she said, do you do this type of candle? And I said, well, I can make that, of course. And she said, all right, I'll get on it. But she chose my website because of one of my photos.
I love that.
I said, why did you choose that? Why did you choose me? And she said, because of the photos.
Yeah, you're right. It's so important. And I speak to so many candle makers and they're afraid to make the investment from the monetary perspective. But if you are not skilled at taking photos yourselves, and as you say, photos sell. That's what sells our product. The customer can't smell our candles through the screen. They need to be able to be taken on that journey with the product descriptions and the beautiful imagery. And if you're not prepared to make that investment, that will impact your sales and that will impact the success of your business.
Oh, I agree. Everything. Even my boxes I get made as well. It's a lot of money to put into boxes on the hope that you're going to sell the candles.
Yes.
Like thousands and thousands of dollars, and you're thinking, well, you need to decide whether you want to just hang out at the markets with these, not have a box, or whether you want to take it to the next level. And I don't do markets. I'm too lazy.
Hey, everyone's entitled to run their business however they like.
But because I've got my beauty salon that I don't work much anymore, but I've turned it into my candle store. So, and we're in a little village, right? So you might get 3 or 4 customers. It's not overly busy, but it's my workplace. And I've just started candle classes, and that's gone mental.
Yeah, tell us about that. I saw that on your website and I was intrigued to see and to speak to you about how it's all going.
Yeah, look, wonderful. I've kept it as cheap as I possibly can for them, for everyone to come so they can. And I only do 4 people because I don't have a huge amount of room. And the class goes for an hour. They make 4 little tins. They learn their times tables while they're there.
I
No, and they learn the craft of candle making as much as they can.
love
Some of,
that.
some of the ladies have brought their own food and have little, like a snack while they're waiting, and they come back the next day and pick up their candles. But it's great. It's really good. So I've got a group of 8 booked in. I know I only do 4, but it's mums and their daughters.
Oh, I love
And
that.
I'm like, oh, that's a bit cute.
That's beautiful. Is that in time for Mother's Day as well?
No, it won't be till June by the
Ah,
time they
okay.
get themselves organised. But I think
Yep.
one of the things is if you see a candle maker and you think, I'd like to do that, oh, they don't do it on a Sunday. They only do it on a Sunday. We can't do Sundays. Ask them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what day suits you. I can only
Yeah.
do what day suits me. And so this lady that messaged me, she said, can you do a Saturday, the 4th of June? I went, sure, no worries. And then I had another lady in at Bingra from the community college who wanted me to go up there. So for me to bring everything up to there. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So
Amazing.
I haven't got that date yet, but it's
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 in the
interesting.
works.
And of course
Yeah.
it's Facebook, buy, swap, sell. That's where I advertise. I
Okay.
do
Tell
the
us about that.
occasional ad on Facebook, but not very much. But yeah, the buy, swap, sell pages are very powerful and they're free.
And is that the candle buy swap sales or just the general marketplace?
Just the local ones.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really interesting because many of the people that I've spoken to haven't even explored that as an option. So to know that it is an option and that it's working successfully is incredible.
Yeah, we just reach so many people. And they go, oh, that's fun. Yeah. And because it's local, and eventually I'll do some virtual candle classes, but not yet, not ready yet.
Oh, that'll be fantastic because then people can get their supplies and work alongside you. And it's scalable as well if you're able to do it online.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it can almost automate it, as in, I will do a video of me recording, doing the candle class.
Mm-hmm.
But that takes a lot of work. It's not just get someone to stand there with a phone and video you. You've got to have a little bit scripted, and someone's got to edit that. Once again, not my zone.
Outsource.
Outsource, I will. I know someone actually.
Ah, perfect.
Well, we're selling our house, and the lady that came to do the photos and the videos of the house, I said, do you do product photography? And she said, no, but you've got a really good spot here. You just need this natural light coming through here. It'll come through all day. And I'm like, okay, you're right. And I thought, all right, if I need to do that, I'll get them to do the video, I think.
I love that your mindset is so focused on efficiency and being effective in your business rather than, being the martyr and saying, I'm going to do it all myself and I'm going to save all this money and I'm going to learn all these new skills. But you spend so much time on trying to get to the level of what professionals are already at and they've studied for years to perfect their craft. If you're able to outsource, yeah, I completely agree that that's the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're busy. Like I'm a mixed consultant as well. And then my husband has a business in swimming pools, plus he works full time. So it's like, I don't need to do all this myself. I can say to you, can you critique my website for me? And it'll take you 15 minutes, but I can look at it for 4 days and won't even know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So tell me, what are your goals for your business?
Obviously, more sales. Everybody wants more sales, right? And ongoing sales. I have revamped I work quite a lot with my sister, who's a graphic designer, and we try to make my website as succinct as possible, like keep it simple. So I'd like, I want it to stay fresh, et cetera, and have more sales and everything else. But also just for people, I think, to really enjoy the candles that they get, that really makes my heart sing. It's like, I nailed it. Well done. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased that they're so happy,
Yes.
And of course, if it was how can I say this? One of the things I want to do is, and I have already on there, larger candles, like bigger candles, like
Massive
candles. I call them big ass candles because they're big ass candles, right? And I would like to go that way more so than the normal everyday you know,
Mm.
150 mils, 400 mils. I'm talking a kilo of wax, a kilo and a half of wax.
Yeah.
You know, they're big candles, they're beautiful. And then, of course, you have to do the boxes with them as well. But what comes with all of that is the financial outlay. So it's a lot of wax, and it's a lot of the vessels are more expensive, and you've got to have 2,000 boxes at a time, and it's like, oh, yeah. So I guess I'd like to be known, one, for unscented candles, and two, for my big candles.
That's such an awesome goal to have, and it's so unique, and you'll find that people will gravitate towards that because it is different.
Yeah.
Which is really good. Now, you mentioned that you wanted to be known for unscented candles. Why is that? Because
it's difficult to find an unscented candle. And my thought process was, why would you want an unscented candle? But then the lady that I spoke to, she said, well, I want to have it at a dinner party, but I don't want this beautiful fragrance going through my butter chicken and my butter chicken going through the candle. She said, I want the ambience, but I don't want the fragrance.
I can just imagine, someone having a dinner party with this really big 1 kilo candle sitting there as the centerpiece, as opposed to, a floral arrangement or something different. Just have this beautiful candle that becomes a talking point for the conversation of the people at the dinner party.
Yeah, the beautiful long baguette candle vessels are gorgeous in the middle of the table.
Yes.
And also I like the boat ones, the wooden ones.
Yes.
Yeah, they're cute.
Oh, I love that. When you start your candle business, there are so many things to consider and research along the way, especially when it comes to choosing the right suppliers. Long Story Short provides all your design and printing needs, from your logo and branding to designing and printing your product labels. The quality is exceptional, the customer service is amazing, and prices are very reasonable. They're the only label company I recommend, so check out their website or send them an email today to get started. hello@longstoryshortdesign.com.au. So tell me about your weekly routine. I know that you said you've got a lot on your plate, so how do you manage to get everything done?
Well, I don't have any children that live at home. They're all grown up. My grandkids don't live. I've got 2 grandchildren that live here and 3 that live away. And so it's just, and Terry goes to work, so I'm home by myself. I've got plenty of time. Chatham, I have an accountability buddy, Tina, that we met through a personal development course that we did with Susanna Mihailovich called Your Two Minds, which is based on Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about mindset. Anyway, if no one has ever done that course, they need to go and do it. It changed my life. And during that, it was, because everything is energy, right? So it's everything. It's like when Bob says in one of his training things, well, where will the money come from? And he said, oh, wherever it is right now. So we have this line that we say with everyone now, where will the money come from? Wherever it is right now. It's just energy. It's over there or there. It'll pop over into your lane when it's ready. So I speak with Tina every day, and she'll go, no, Helen, that's ridiculous. Or she'll say things like, how do you feel about that? And I think, oh, okay. So, and she's very arty. So she has different skills. And so chatting with her gets me motivated or not motivated. I've got my list of things to do. I've got my Thermomix stuff to do. I've got my swamps to lagoons, which is Terry's business. And then my candle things. But because I go down to what I call the salon, but the shop, just down at the back of the property here, I can do a lot of that work while I'm there in between customers. So I utilise my time well. So if I'm not pouring, I'll schedule that on Instagram. I did a wonderful course with a lady named Lavinia on Instagram and learnt lots of things. But if you want to ask me what the worst thing I hate about candle making, is social media. I hate doing Instagram posts. I can do the videos and throw them at someone and say, make that look pretty. But of course, haven't found the person that can do that yet. That's in my budget,
Yeah, true.
So, but everything, they'll come when they're ready.
Yeah, that's right, when you're an energetic match.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
What's your favourite thing about what you do?
The actual pouring of candles.
Yeah.
Is beautiful. And people getting to enjoy the candle. Sounds a bit corny, but it really floats my boat when I get this lady who sends me these messages, dang, Helen, girl, you've nailed this one.
I love that. It's so reassuring when you have a positive review or you get feedback like that, where it just reaffirms that you're on the right path and that what you're creating for your customers and future customers is worth all the challenges and all the hurdles that you have to overcome.
Yeah, that's right. And I think one of the things that I've really had to teach myself was I already know not to take things personally because they're not about me, right? But one of the things I've really had to teach myself was I love my she candle.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. It's a rose gold vessel with a rose gold lid, comes with 3 little heart wax melts in the top that I've, hit the top of the candle with a heat gun and then put little heart melts in there. It's got this beautiful, beautiful label. Comes in a wonderful pink box with another beautiful label and an affirmation card saying, I am strong, I am loved, I am power, I am this, all these things. And they don't sell very well. And I'm like, ah!
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, I know. I thought this was going to be amazing. And it's like, wow. It's like, oh, well.
Isn't it interesting that when we feel so aligned in what we do and we feel so connected to something, that we're full of so much joy and passion and positivity, that you feel that what you're doing is going to have such a big impact. And then for whatever reason it doesn't land, it does leave you confused because you think, but this felt right to me. It felt so connected and aligned. So where's that disconnect between what I'm experiencing and what the customer or potential customer, what they're viewing of that product or what they're viewing of that candle? So yeah, that's really interesting.
And then of course that's right. And then of course you second guess yourself. Oh, my price is too high. Did I not market that properly? Oh, well, I've done it once and it's not going to work. It didn't work, so I'm not doing it again. It's like, get over yourself.
Yeah, it's true.
Ironically, this morning I was listening to Denise Duffield-Thomas, who's do you know Denise? Oh, you know
yes.
of Denise? Yeah.
Oh, not personally, but yes.
And she was talking about launching something and it's a bit of a flop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how when she talks about money archetypes, how I'm talking to you and you and I understanding exactly what we're saying, but Mary Blogs might listen to this podcast and they'll go, I don't even know what she's talking about. What does she mean everything is energy? What does that mean? Yeah. So she was talking about money archetypes and nurture and everything else and how you have to try and reach out to all different types of people in the way that they think, which is why content writing is really important.
Mm.
And I'm not very good at that. But I was speaking to a lady the other day who works on the radio, and she was saying when I write my content, my description writing in my candles, I pluralize it intentionally so that people think the power of suggestion that you buy more than one.
Yeah, interesting.
And she said that when they talk on radio, they talk to you like she's speaking to you directly.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's interesting. I use Grammarly a lot.
Yes. Oh, Grammarly is amazing. It's so handy.
Yeah. And I did a writing course just recently at the talk about interpretations at Tamworth Library. They had this place-based writing course. Places in PLACE.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, okay. So and it was a free course, and I'm like, okay, so it must mean that if they have enough people to come, then they'll run it. No, I got there. No, it wasn't that at all. Places in a location.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing.
Oh.
They're all talking about the history of Corindi and, places at Bingra, and they're going to do all this research and this history. And I'm like, I'm talking about candles.
Yeah. Bit of a crosswise there.
But that's what happens when you with your product, when you go to sell your candle, what you think it is and what you're trying to say isn't necessarily how someone else interprets it, which is why the photos are so important because people think in pictures.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's true. And if you can have beautiful photos that convey different settings and different emotions and different feelings, then people will be able to connect in with that more than if it was just text or a product description.
Yeah, that's right. Photos, yeah.
So what's one lesson your journey has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
Just trust your gut. Do what feels good, because whatever you're producing, that's how it will come across. If you've got passion with what you're making, then you will definitely, it'll show in the product that you make. And ask for help. If you don't know how to do something, ask somebody. Outsource that stuff. Like, do the math. I'm not going to sit here for 4 hours and get I get paid myself $40 an hour, sit here for 4 hours and spend $160 doing one label. I can outsource it to Christy for 50.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And it's done professionally.
Yeah.
So, ask for help and just go with your gut. Successful people create. They don't compete.
Yes, and they don't do everything themselves. There's a team effort.
Yeah.
What gives you motivation to keep going when things get tough in your business or in your life?
Well, in my business, you're in so deep, you can't stop. You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going until you've got all your money back, right?
True.
I've invested a truckload of money in this. I'm not going to stop now. But you have to realise, I have to understand. Well, like my she candle, when I launched it, it didn't do what I thought it would do. Well, relaunch it, change the way you did it, do something else. Just don't give up. Like, I used to say, you can stop, but you can't unpack, because that's not where you're meant to be. Just, I envisage in a car, pulling up, stopping on the side of the road, having a nervous breakdown, having to cry, swearing a lot, going lots of things that you say, and then you go, well, righto, what are you going to do about that? Next, move on, put the car in gear, take off again.
Yes, I love that.
Lots of those parks in life and in any business that you have. But if you stop, that's the end.
Yeah, if you unpack the car, that's the end of the journey.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to have a pause. Like I had almost a year out when we had a family tragedy year before last. Hang on, sorry.
It's okay.
And so I just stopped everything. And I guess in my head I think, well, you're on this planet for this much time. Do whatever makes your heart sing.
Yeah.
Just do that. So, and sometimes I go too fast, and I know that. but it keeps you going. Like, it keeps you motivated, and it's like, just keep going. Just do all the things that make your heart sing.
It's true. If you're able to tap into that connection with yourself and feel connected to something bigger than yourself and grow and learn and evolve and become the best version of yourself, that creates ripple effects to the people in your family, the people in your community, strangers online as you put your business online as well. The impact that you can have is just huge, as long as you're taking care of yourself within that journey as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And just because, like, when I took my time off, I had to start again. So consistency, people say this all the time, consistency is key. And it's like, yeah, right,
Sometimes you need to pull over.
Yeah. But understanding that when you pull over, I look at it like, I was a panel beater's daughter, right? So everything's car related. So you're driving up a hill and you take your foot off the accelerator and you go back down the hill a bit. Just put your foot back on the accelerator, go back up again. So, and that's when I took that time off, that's what happened. I went from what I felt was close to the top of the hill right down to the bottom. So I had to start again. But it was like, that's okay.
Yeah, it's just part of life's journey.
Yeah.
We have challenges and hurdles that come across our path that seem to literally derail us at times. And we wonder, what's the reason behind this? Why has this become a part of my story? But it gives us strength and it builds us up and it helps us learn a new perspective about life that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. My dad used to always say, this too shall pass. And I kept saying that during COVID. They're going, oh, COVID's so bad. And I said, this too shall pass. Yeah. Nothing's permanent, So get stuck in, get it done, do what you've got to do. Stop stuffing around.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And he did that, didn't work, change, pivot, do something else.
Yes.
You don't want to do candles anymore? Don't do candles anymore. You want to become a hairdresser? Go become a hairdresser. Do whatever you want to do.
Yes. Don't feel that just because you've started on a particular path that's the only one that you can go on. You're allowed to pivot, you're allowed to change, you're allowed to evolve. And in fact, you shouldn't stay in one place forever. Like where you are when you're in your teens and 20s and 30s is very different as you get older and into the different decades. So it seems almost rare now for people to stay in the same position or the same job, because there's so much out there in life to explore and to discover.
And it's a short time here. What I said the other day, the biggest mistake we make is thinking that we have time.
Yeah, that
because we
is so
don't
true.
get
That
it
is so
done.
true.
I know that on my counter website I have funky finds.
Yes, I saw them. They're gorgeous.
So it's just this random stuff that I like, and I've had the handbags made. Like, I wanted this purse and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm like, I was in Bali and I'm like, I'm going to make that. I want to get someone to make me that. Because you feel like you're the richest person in the world when you go to Bali, right? Because everything's
Yeah.
cheap. I'm going to get a purse made. It's only going to cost me $80. So I'm like very grown up, very princess like. Oh, they're going to bring my breakfast. Oh, they're going to clean my room. I'm just going to call the driver. They'll pick me up. I love that.
Yes.
Obviously what I'm meant to have in life, right? It's all these little live a life of a celebrity or whatever else.
Yes.
So I found these bags and I made them. Anyway, before I got home, I just popped them on my page, just saying, got a bit carried away and ordered a couple of those, a couple of those, a couple of those. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'd sold them all before I'd even got home. So I ordered some more and I've got like a few, not a lot, like 3 bags and a couple of little purses. And when they go, that'll be it. I'll take them off. But my latest addition is some earrings.
Yes.
And I found this lady on Instagram and her name's Helen, which is handy. She's called Handmade by Helen. And I'm like, I'm not lying, because someone said, oh, you did those. And I said, no, I haven't made them. But it's convenient. It says Handmade by Helen.
I love that.
And there's a few, and they're beautiful earrings, like beautiful, beautiful earrings. I couldn't do that. That's not what I would do. So, and I support her business, and she, everybody works together to support everybody's business, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's about that community and connection over competition.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, if I said to you, oh, gee, I need someone to do my social media content, do you know of anyone? Do you know of a good photographer? Do you know of someone who can do content writing? You will have those connections. And I might speak to them and not gel with them. Or it might be like, it was like when I was doing that course I was talking about before with Susanna with the Your Two Minds. I can't recommend that highly enough. Like I said before, life-changing. And everybody just relies on, like, word of mouth is still one of the biggest forms of advertising.
Absolutely. And if you can create a candle that creates those positive reviews, when their friends and family ask, where did you get that candle? The word of mouth recommendation will be your business.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Huge.
right.
Love that.
Yeah.
How do you define success?
Oh, it's just loving what you do.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to know your numbers. You got to do the maths. You can't be negligent when it comes to finances and running a business in a sense. But if you get up every day and you hate your job, don't do it.
Yeah.
Loving what you do, right?
That's not success. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've come to one of my favorite parts of the podcast, where I ask all my podcast guests 3 specific candle questions. So number 1, what is your favorite candle fragrance?
Cashmere and cardamom.
Oh, that sounds exotic. Or elegant. Yeah.
Well, it's quite masculine. So it's in my mantle range. Yeah, yeah. But I love it. And people say to me, what does it smell like? And this is my description: a good-looking man in a suit at a wedding.
Oh, that does sound good.
You know what it smells like, don't you?
Yeah.
Good content writing, Helen.
I love it. Yes, write that down. That's really good.
I did. I wrote it in my description.
Oh, perfect.
People know what that smells like. It's like, oh, yeah, that's sexy, man.
Yeah.
And I put it in my hand washes. Like, so when I wash inside, I just make hand wash and put it in my hand wash and put the candle. I don't always burn it inside because I have to test burn all the others, which is lots of fun.
Yes. Yes. We could go into a whole new episode about the testing process and what that's like and how involved it is and the challenges that you can face along the journey.
So you have lots of friends. Can you test burn these candles for me? Sure.
Yeah. Free candles. Sure. I'm not going to say no to that.
Yeah. Right.
Question number 2, what do you love about candles?
I think I've already sort of touched on this a little bit, but pouring candles is cathartic. It's very healing. It's wonderful. I love pouring candles, and I love people getting love from the candles,
Yes.
experiencing, whatever it brings them.
Whether it's calm or relaxation or joy or whatever they're looking for, whatever they need.
Yeah.
And then question 3 is, what is one piece of advice you'd like to give to candle makers during their journey?
Do whatever works for them. Like, trust your gut, like I said before. Trust if you want to do these candles where you want to box or non-box, unbox or, have one range only, or do whatever you want to do. Just do whatever works well for you, because that will come through in your candle. And just love it. Just enjoy what you do.
That's beautiful advice. Helen, thank you so much for being on the podcast with me today. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and I love that we were able to touch on so many different topics, but still related to candles, but also just talking about energy and the different ways that we can bring value to our customers and our potential customers as well. So for the listeners that would love to connect in with you, where can we find you online?
So my website is The Candle Co, THE, candleco.com.au, and on Instagram it's Melbourne_candles_soaps, and
Perfect.
Facebook it's just Melbourne Handpool Candles and Soaps.
Perfect. So I will put all of those links in the show notes. So if anyone wants to click through and say hello to you and say, I listened to your episode on the podcast and loved how we spoke about different things or whatever they connected in with, that would be amazing. So again, thank you so much for being part of the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. It's been good fun.
Thanks everyone for listening today. I hope this episode added value to your candle making journey. Check out the show notes for all the links mentioned throughout today's show, and please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks again for listening. Have a beautiful day.